Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have The Moon Spinners. This is a 1964, 1964 movie. It's an hour and 58 minutes long. It is a Disney film because, hey, Haley Mills is in it. You know her from Parent Trap and Parent Trap 2 and Pollyanna and, yeah, that darn cat. She's all over this. She is just a teenage girl, probably 17, 18 when this was shot, um, going on vacation in Crete, an island off of Greece, with her aunt, as one does. And they just happen to show up right when there's a big wedding going on. Honestly, it has the wedding really has not much to do with anything, other than the fact that it creates a situation where they get to meet some new people, most of which are not very nice to them. Even though they arrive on a really crowded bus with a big stinky fish dangling in their face and in their faces, and when they get there, there's no rooms. They're told there's no rooms for them. It's sort of like an adventure gone a trip gone wrong. By the way, her aunt there. She's there because her aunt is a musicologist who studies music from different cultures and just goes around and records people singing in their native music. Yeah, that's a job, and I'm pretty sure that like nobody had been to Greece before. Nobody had been to Crete before, and recorded any of this. I don't know. She studies it, and okay, that's great. By the way, none of this has anything to do with the point of the film, which takes a little while to get into. It is pretty slowly paced, which makes some of the more exciting moments all the more exciting. um, it's a romance to a certain degree, as cleanly as Disney can get it. With their 1960s star Haley Mills, come on, she's she meets the very first shirtless man she sees coming off a boat when she looks out off her patio window, her balcony off her balcony. I am messing up words today. Off of her balcony, she looks down and goes, "Hey, he's shirtless and cute," and he just happens to be English as well, and because they're having a lot of trouble understanding some of the Cretans. Is that where that word comes from? That doesn't seem right. That seems kind of mean. I didn't realize Cretan and this would be spelled a different way than Crete. En would be. Never mind. Either way, she meets this dude who's hunky. She's pretty, and they are destined to go on an adventure together. He invites her to go skin diving, and well, he can't make it because he gets shot. He doesn't get killed, but along the way, I'm not going to ruin the whole movie for you. Sorry, but he's there for mysterious reasons. And in fact, the reason why a lot of people are really rude to them is because they're not really sure what to make of these outsiders who just happen to show up at the wrong time. I think a lot of this is meant to be somewhat of a travelogue kind of film where you get to see the beautiful Crete scenery and things like that, and the culture. You start the movie off with a wedding, and you sort of toward the end of the film there's a big parade which slows down their vehicle. It becomes a traffic issue where people are just dressed as weird animals like octopuses and zebras, I guess, and all sorts of other animals, and they just hop on top of the truck. It's a hearse, by the way. Yeah, they're in a hearse at some point, and animals are just people dressed as animals are hopping up on top of things, and they open up the back door to the hearse and they start spraying glitter and confetti or whatever else inside there, and they're just super obnoxious. They're trying to pull people out of the car. I realize this is a party, and maybe people have been drinking a little bit of too much ouzo, but come on, it's I don't care if this is 1964. You just don't do that. And I realize it's meant, to move the story along, allow certain characters to go a certain direction. But either way, we get a lot of the culture being reflected in this film. Um, but yeah, I don't, without spoiling too much, we just they get caught up in in a bit of an adventure where a certain someone who's not been treating them well turns out to be on the hunt for Mark, the guy that Haley, who is named Nikki in this. Nikki has gotten to know Mark, and Mark is on the hunt for something big, and this one guy who's named Stratos is out to find him. And of course, Nikki gets mixed up in all of this. Stratos, by the way, is played by Eli Wallach. You recognize him from the Magnificent Seven, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He's kind of one of the biggest stars at this time in this film, beyond Haley, of course. Uh, there's also Joan Greenwood and Irene Papas. If you know some classic films, you probably recognize some of these names. The Pola Negri is a woman who I was reading up on her, and it turned out that she had not done a movie in 20 years, and they had gotten her to come back to do this. And she has a very small part towards the end of the film, but she's great in it. It's just she's a very interesting character. She gets sort of do a little bit of comedy. It's not like overt comedy, but she's this woman who's sort of just pulled into this story at the last minute and told way too much information by Haley, and then she has to make a choice. And will it lead to more trouble for Nikki and Mark, or will it save the day? Who knows? All I know is she's got a leopard, and I don't recall this scene happening. I don't know why this picture is used. Maybe I looked away at the wrong moment, but I mean, yes, there's a point where Haley is in the room with a leopard. I don't think they were ever this chummy in the movie. It just seems weird. That would be the go-to picture to make this thing look interesting. It's if you like the pacing of a 1964 film that has moments of interesting adventure, go for it. Otherwise, you're not really missing a whole lot. Even though a lot of this is meant to show what it's like to be in Greece, there's so many sequences where it's obviously they're standing on a soundstage with a screen projecting the back what looks like the coastline of Crete behind them. So yeah, like they went back and they're like, okay, we need more scenes with dialogue, but we're not going to go all the way back to Crete. We're not going to go back to Greece. And a lot of this does look like it was actually shot at Greece. A lot of the wide shots, you see a lot of ruins and things like that they wouldn't have just built for this movie. And there are some sort of interior shots with ruins and things like that, ancient looking stuff, but that's all in a soundstage. But there's moments where they're like standing on a hillside and just having a conversation, and it looks so bad in the background. There's no amount of color correction that can fix the way that looks in the background. You'll know it when you see it. But yeah, I can't say unless you're a big Haley Mills fan, you're not gonna be like, oh my god, I gotta see this. It is a a little a classic, maybe a little known classic. I had not heard of it until this. And by the way, just to clarify, Moon Spinners doesn't take place in space. There's nothing about the moon. It's literally the name of the hotel that they get to check into. And there's a story behind the name of it, but it's just, Greek mythology. But okay, it has nothing to do with anything. Although I have to admit, there's one scene in this movie that I kind of enjoy. It is the windmill scene. If you've seen the movie, you know which one I'm talking about. Yes, she's not doing her own stunts in this thing, but it's I've never seen this kind of stunt done before. It's pretty well done. There's a little kid named Alexis, little boy, who speaks broken English here and there, and he's helpful in this scene. Let's just say that. And yes, he's probably not also doing his own stunts, but there's some real windmill sequences, and then there's like soundstage windmill sequences. doesn't ruin the tension anymore. And any, let's just say you have to escape a windmill, and the only way out is the window at the top of the windmill, and you have to get onto the blades, but they're not blades. They're basically wood with sheets on them to make them spin, catch the wind. And you have to jump on that as it spins and then go around with it in order to get down to the bottom. Yeah. Let's just say Haley doesn't like heights. Or Nikki doesn't like heights. So yeah, it's a cute movie. If you like these kind of classic adventure romances, but it's not gonna, even 1981's Raiders of the Lost Ark is so much more exciting. But I think that's kind of, yeah, that's a given. That's the template for so much, and yeah, and a lot of Raiders of the Lost Ark is a hyper actionized version of stuff that we saw that came out in the 1930s and things like that. So, yeah, it's a yeah, it's an alright film. I'm not gonna watch it again. It's not gonna be like, oh my gosh, I gotta see this again. Let me dig deep into the character development and everything else and the beauty of Greece. As beautiful as it is, it's just, yeah, that's all I can really say about that. So let's pick tomorrow's episode.
376.
376. 376. Okay, come on. Okay, we have another documentary. I think this might be the Disney nature thing rather than National Geographic, because I think there's another documentary about this documentary, believe it or not, somewhere else on Disney Plus. Either way, we're going to be watching Penguins. So, yeah. Penguins is what's up next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.